Hey guys, a couple of weeks ago, I made a cleaver from a rasp. I had a lot of people ask me if I could show exactly how I did it. So in this video, I'll be taking this rasp and turning it into a functional cleaver. We'll be using stock removal methods so we can keep that rasp texture. Let's get into it. So there's different ways that you can get your design on the steel. I'm going to be using this painter's tape. And the reason I'm not using a marker is because of the rasp and the texture of it. You just can't write on it. Smooth part's okay if you use a little bit on that, but the best way is going to be spray paint. Now I did this before, I didn't use tape. I just placed it on there and sprayed it, but I noticed it moved a little bit. So this way I can make sure it doesn't move at all, and I'll get a better spray on it. Any pieces I see that are lifted up, I just add a little bit of tape. And if there is a piece that's lifted a little bit, you just want to be careful. Make sure you go directly above it so you don't spray underneath. That design looks great. There's the only part that's not perfect is right on the butt of the handle. But I can just do that part by eye. I was able to draw a little line with the marker. Straight lines work on these, but that's about all you can do. I wanted it a little bit longer than what the template had. And cleavers are really easy because it's pretty much just a rectangle with a handle. And then you can design the front of the cleaver however you want. But it's really easy to cut out. And this is still hardened. I will be annealing it to make it softer a little bit later. I'm going to be using this really worn 36 grip belt. I don't want to use a new one because it would just tear apart my belt. So right now I'm just getting a rough design, and after it's annealed, I'll finish it up. Something I learned from my first one is because of the texture, it doesn't slide when it's in my forge. And so I had to actually lift it up, but the problem is because the rasp is heavy, I lift it from the handle, it's gonna warp it because it's too much weight, so it starts bending. So by putting this piece of steel in, I can slide it along that, and that way I don't have to worry about warping. And for the annealing process, all I'm doing is I'm heating it up to non-magnetic, and then I'm just going to leave it in my forge. And I make sure I get the tang as well, so it's easy to drill through. It's really hard to drill through hardened steel. This makes it so much easier. So now I'm just going to turn off the forge and leave it in there until it's cool enough to pick up. This knife has been annealed now. So what I want to do next is I need to bring all these down. They're sharp. I can feel it on my fingers, so I want to bring it down with the flap disc, and then I need to bring it down even more on the tang because this, you can see that it's raised, and so the handle's not going to sit flush against it. So I'm going to bring it down, and I'm going to bring it down more than over here just to make sure I get a really good fit on the handle. And I'll go through, and after I take care of all those, go through and just make sure this is the exact shape that I want. Right now it's really rough. It's hard on your hands, and we just don't need it like that. I might try leaving them if I make a survival knife sometime. I will be grinding a lot of those off. We'll probably grind about halfway up the blade. I'm using a flap disc instead of a grinding wheel because I don't want to totally remove them. I just want to make them a lot lower, but still keep the texture. So I'm going to be hitting both sides and also be going along the spine and around the tang. And on this one, on my last one, I ground the tang down a little bit, but it still was raised more than I wanted. So on this one, I'm going to have it almost totally flat. And I'm also using my spindle grinder, so this gets the handle really rounded in the parts where I want it. And then I'll be using the same attachment with the handle, so it gets a really nice even feel. And annealing the tang made this really easy to drill. So now what I'm going to do is 2 thermal cycles just to prevent any warping. Blade looks totally straight, so I'm going to make sure the file skates. The hard part on this, because it's not totally flat, I just had to find a spot where there was no texture. I did leave the part, there was a smooth part that didn't have any texture, and I made it this way so I could test out to make sure the file would skate across the steel. So now the blade is hardened. I also did a temper cycle inside of my oven. So now where the blade's going to be, there's all these grooves, and it's going to be really hard to get a center line in there. So I'm going to have to make sure this is all smooth. And I do this on any knife I make because of the heat treat and all the scratches from the grinder that you really can't get a good line. I also noticed there's some smoke. So this is some of the dust from the last knife I made. And there's lots of hot steel spraying down, and it caught on some of the leftover material. So I'm just making sure that it's really smooth, and now I've switched to a Scotch-Brite belt to really clean it up. You can see it'll be a lot easier for me to get a center line in there. So I'm just using layout fluid, and I just coat it with the layout fluid, and then I use a scribe. You can even use a drill bit if you don't have one. This first belt I'm using is a worn 36 grit belt. I don't use a new one because it is so hard, and there's still some of the texture, and it would just eat up your new belts. And belts are expensive. You go through a lot of them, so I don't want to waste any. So after I get my first bevels ground in, then I'll switch to a new belt. Now I've switched to a new belt, and I can grind in the rest of the bevels. So I want to go up about halfway up the blade. The first Rasp cleaver I made, I didn't grind very far, and I wish I would have. So on this one, I'm going to go up a lot farther. And I'm just going to go over the spine with the flap disc just to make them a little less coarse. I still want to leave them in, and it also gives jimping, so you get a better grip on the handle. The guy I'm making this knife for, he wanted Paduke wood. The place I went, they were all out of it. So I got this one. This is a Dymalux rosewood. It's similar to Paduke, I really like using Dymilux, and I've never tried this kind before. Dymilux is cool because there's layers, so you can grind down and get different textures and patterns out of the material. I love using Dymilux, but it is really tough and it's hard on belts. I first used a worn 36 grit belt. I had to switch to a brand new one because it was burning the Dymilux. Put the epoxy in. I also use G10 liners in between the scales and the steel. I like to have a tight fit on the pins, so I just use the hammer to hammer them in as far as I need them to go. So now the epoxy's all dried. I'm just cutting off the excess pins. I don't want to grind them all off. They do heat up this way, so I always have a wet towel so I can hurry and make sure they don't smoke too much. I've never let them heat up. I think it's good. You can start smelling the epoxy starting to burn. So it's probably not a good thing, so I hurry and cool them off. Now I'm going to make sure the handle is exactly how I want it before I start the hand sanding. I go back to the spindle grinder to make sure the curves are perfect. Everything is really flush. I didn't used to use this, but it never looked as good. So this way, the handles look a lot better. So now I start at 120 grit, and I'm just rounding the handle more right now. So after sanding the spine and the bottom, then I switch around to the sides. And then after I'm done rounding the handle, then I stay with 120 grit, and then I'll work my way up to 2000. I just make sure all the scratches are out. At the end, I'm using boiled linseed oil to polish the handle. I don't like using my buffing wheel on wood. I find that the oil does a better job. Since this knife is already sold, I don't want to test it out too much, but I just want to make sure the edge holds up and it seems good. I'm just chopping some wood real quick. Make sure there's no edge damage. I'm going to try batoning one of these pieces of wood. Now we'll see if it's still sharp after testing it out on the wood. It's still very sharp. And this is just after sharpening with a grinder. I'm also going to be going over later with my stones. Thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Let me know in the comments if you want to see me make a different kind of knife out of a rasp. And I will see you guys in my next one.